What is up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, being subbed. If you're not, hit the button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit the like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into the real of reality TV. Real Housewives of Atlanta, it is filming right now, but it seems like it's always something about a few of the people on the show, or maybe who aren't even on the show anymore, that's coming out. And so right now we're going to be talking about someone and some people that had some things to say about them not being on the show anymore that is not filming at this point in time, and that's Kenya. So her ex-husband, who she was going through a divorce with longer than she was married to, I feel, even though they were still technically married until the divorce was officially final, but going through the divorce longer than she was actually going through being a wife, we'll just put it like that. He's come out to say something about the fact that Kenya isn't on the show anymore. And I just find it at least a little bit hypocritical. So let's just get into what he had to say.
Everyone I met through that experience was great. Except for, you know who? The producers, the Mr. Cohen. The snake in chief. You guys know that, right? See how they did Kenya dirty? And you know what's funny? Everyone said, well, Mark, you this, Mark, you that. You know what? If I was there, they would never have that crazy set. You know, a husband sometimes got to stand up and the same way a wife has to protect her husband if he's going off the rails. I would have never let that happen. You always said, oh, he's bossing him around, but you still would have got a check. So, you know what I'm saying? It's just life.
Okay, well, let's be clear. He definitely was not there for her when he was supposed to be there. So for him to say, well, if I was there, that never would have happened, because as a husband, you're there to protect your wife and certain things wouldn't have went down if I was there. But he wasn't even there when he was supposed to be there. He was checked out. He was disinterested, and it was hard to watch. I was one of the people that actually wanted to root for her relationship when a lot of people were saying that it was fake. They weren't really married. It was an arrangement. It was all types of things that were being said. And yeah, it definitely did look weird and strange. But listen, there are different types of relationships out there. So I was trying not to, judge too heavily. But for him to call Andy a snake, now, while I will say that I don't disagree with him in some ways that he is snake-like, but that's like the boa constrictor calling the anaconda a snake. You're both snakes. You may be different breeds, but you're both snakes. So for him to talk about Andy being a snake, well, listen, Kenya did what she did. And so she has to fall on her own sword. It's always, I always have an issue when I feel like people who are employed with a company, they put up with the stuff while they're there, and I get it. And listen, most people don't have the type of positions that Kenya was able to have being on a reality show. So technically they're independent contractors, but literally they are employed by the network. So yeah, I'm not saying everything was perfect in those spaces. We know that they are not. But you're getting your check, you're dealing with it. But when you leave, and I won't say when you leave, when you're no longer there and it was based on them letting you go, then it's all these horrible things that come out about that company and the environment. And it's like, well, we didn't hear those things while you were there. And while I get it, while you're there, sometimes it isn't easy to speak out about things because you're just trying to continue to collect your checks so you can pay your bills. So I do understand, in some aspects, but I would respect it more if you were to get to a place where you decided to let it go and move on to something else, and then you came out and spoke. I wouldn't feel the same way. I would say, okay, yeah, they were trying to get their stuff together so that they could move on to something else, because it was definitely toxic there. But no, she was still there, and if they didn't let her go, she would still be there. So Marc, save it. And the other M word, or I'll say the other M name, Marlo Hampton. she went live and she was discussing some things, and yeah, people were asking her questions, and she decided to speak on it.
First of all, y'all know I'm from St. Petersburg, Florida. We're not haters. I don't want anyone to get kicked off as a single mom with a child. But due to I know that she was one of the people who was strongly against me not coming back, I just feel like God does not play about his people, and what goes around comes around. So figure this shit out. Keep putting on your Batman outfit and going into, what is she going into? Sally's, and showing people how discounted your products are now. I just feel that what goes around comes around. I can't wait to see her. I got something to show her. I got something to show her that I'm not like her. I really do. So we live in the same neighborhood. I'm sure we'll bump into each other. But no, I don't feel good. I mean, I'm not her, so I don't feel good about her not having a job and not working. But I feel that when you make your bed, my granny always said, you have to lay in it. You gotta lay in it. So she's laying in it right now, but she'll bounce back around.
All right, so listen, I expecting nothing less from Marlo, because she had already come out to say that Kenya and Portia were the two people that did not want her back on the season. So I'm quite sure she is reveling in the fact that Kenya has been dismissed and Portia is going through all of this stuff in her divorce. I know she's eating it up, because that's just the type of person that she is. And I'll be honest with you, I don't care either way, because I don't have a dog in the fight. But at least Marlo, if nothing else, she is consistent in what she does when it comes to things like this. She didn't hold back when it came to speaking about that when she was asked about it. She didn't play coy and say, well, I don't really want to talk on that, but I just wish everyone the best. That fake stuff. Like, she's real about that, at least, so I expected nothing less. But, the stuff about, God don't play about his people. Oh my God, the people who use that type of line when something happens to someone else and they want to make it like, well, God let that happen because of what you did to me. Girl, like, seriously, life is bigger than just you. And so I don't think that it really had anything to do with her. But I do believe that you reap what you sow. And also, when someone like Marlo was not asked to come back and they see this person get dismissed, they are going to feel a little bit of, not so much vindication, but feel a little bit of a boost of energy. Like, yeah, you ain't too big to get your walking papers either. So they don't feel so isolated. Like, well, why was I singled out? I don't know why I wasn't asked to come back. So, with that being said, let me know what you think about Marc and his thoughts on everything, as well as Marlo. And guys, thanks so much for being here, liking and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.